All right, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That is to say, in the Paleo Hebrew, call all halal praises to Yahweh, the name of the Heavenly Father, which is in the Paleo Hebrew, and it means He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God, by the way. The word Bahashem is in the name Yahweh Shai, which means in the Paleo Hebrew, He is our salvation, and that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites. All right. Now, in the awakening of this U.S. National Guard deployment in D.C., on its first night, it made 23 arrests. Okay. Now we're gonna let the AG, Assistant General, what's her name, Pam Bundy, speak on this a little bit. So let's listen up.
These arrests consisted of homicide, firearms offenses, possession with intent to distribute narcotics, fare evasion, lewd acts, stalking, possession of a high-capacity magazine, fleeing to elude in a vehicle, no permits, driving under the influence, reckless driving, and a bench warrant. A total of 6 illegal handguns were seized off of District of Columbia streets as part of last night's effort.
Now, how much you want to bet that a majority of those arrests, 23 of those arrests, how much you want to bet majority, let's say 18 to 20 of those arrests were Israelites, okay? I'm willing to bet that 90% of those arrests were made by Israelites, okay? And hey, good for you, man, because see, you've been warned and you want to continue to go on about your way and do whatever the hell you want. Well, guess what? The Lord is getting ready to send this man, his sword, to come punish you, all right? And it's going to only get worse because this is day one. And if I'm not mistaken, in the video that I did earlier, they can have up to 30 days of this, okay? So let's look at this other video. Look what the headline says. Juvenile is arrested after firing shots at other kids in D.C.
They arrested someone. He's in the car behind me. Very quick response here by transit, metro, and some federal assets. So we're down here in Navy Yard, Washington, D.C. We're photographing and filming a large group that was in this park behind me. You can see some of the leftover trash. Close to 100 people were gathered here, and we heard shots fired. I believe it was more than one. It's hard to hear in the moment. We followed police. They arrested a suspect at this place, and they recovered a firearm as well. We have seen an unbelievable amount of assets being thrown at this. You have Metro, Transit, Capitol Police, and multiple federal officials. I've seen FBI, I've seen HSI, I've seen other kinds of park police in the area. They are throwing a massive amount for this specific incident here. It's very obvious that the city has taken a slightly different posture going forwards.
I mean, look at that. You seen a YN just blatantly speeding across the damn interstate, man. That's why I said, man, I'm willing to bet almost 90% to 100% of those arrests were Israelites, man. YNs, wild youth, you know. Sprinkled amongst that, you may have had, you know, a couple of homeless veterans or what have you, but for the most part, this is directed towards you Israelites, man. All right? And you see, another thing that I seen an article was that ICE, which is Immigration Custom Enforcement, is also looking to hire, man. Okay? They putting out ads in the newspaper for hire. They need agents. Okay? So guess what? Hey, they beefing up they military, man. Okay? And it's going to be lights out pretty soon for a lot of you Israelites, man. All right? So let's see if there's any more other videos. I mean, you just see some of the headlines, man. All right? This man has 30 days
First
to
at
take
5 o'clock,
over.
we start with that federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department and the deployment of the National Guard to the streets of D.C. Thanks for being with us this Tuesday morning. I'm Adriana Hopkins.
And I'm Melanie Hastings in for Adam Longo. The Army says 800 National Guard troops will be deployed over the next few days. All of this part of President Trump's effort to crack down on crime in the nation's capital.
Now, overnight, we learned of a grim milestone for crime in D.C. Shortly before 11 p.m., D.C. police confirmed a man died after being shot in D.C.'s Logan Circle neighborhood.
And according to MPD data, this is D.C.'s 100th homicide of the year so far. At last check, police are still looking for the shooter.
Well, Logan Circle is just one of several spots around D.C. that are seeing an increased federal law enforcement presence ahead of the arrival of the National Guard.
And 7 News is on your side. We've got team coverage of the president's crime crackdown in D.C. John Rogers is following the massive reaction to it.
But let's start with John Gonzalez, live for us outside MPD headquarters. John, the president promising crime will fall and quickly.
That's right. Good morning.
Hey, and let me just say this. All it's going to take is one of these Kool-Aid drinking, hot Cheetos eating, YN son of a guns to go off and unalive one of these officers. And then here we go, man. All right, here we go. Protests, riots, all right? And I did a video a little bit back about the canary in the gold mine, and it's like the canary in the coal mine. What happened in Los Angeles is going to come elsewhere, and protests are going to soon ensue. Man, we got 30 days potentially of this, okay? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the video that I did earlier under that Section 74 DC House Rule Act, he can enact this National Guard deployment for up to 30 days, all right? And this is just day one, all right? Now, here he is going into day two tonight, and we're going to see if any more arrests are made in the attempt to crack down on D.C., the capital crime, all right? And I say, you deploy this across the country, especially in places like Chicago, all right? Chirac, all right? You ought to put some National Guard troops out there amongst them YNs, man. All right? Because, hey, you try to help them, give them somewhere to go and get off the streets in the summer, and what do? They show up at, the establishments, such as, gyms and things of that magnitude, bringing that YN behavior inside the gym, man. All right? So I say you show up down there in Chicago, Chirac, New York, D.C., Maryland, which is part of D.C., Miami, Texas, wherever you got problems where crime is at an all-time high, Mississippi. You see all these places where you got, high crime, man. All right? Show up down there, man. And let's see these YNs, see if they're going to put in work. Jacksonville. Because they so quick to put in work against their own. But let's see when they show up and get met with, militarized individuals equipped with tanks and machine firearms with the likings like they've never seen before. All right? See what these YNs do then, man. Okay? So the takeover for DC has officially started with 23 arrests, and we shall see how long this lasts, okay? Because after the 30 days, Trump's going to have to make that decision, all right? If crime hasn't, subsided in those days that's leading up to the 30 days being ended, all right? So you see the headlines across the feed, man. This is all within a couple of days. What's this feed?
This as President Donald Trump threatens to take control of the city. That could include the D.C. Police Department and possibly the entire D.C. government. Thanks for joining us for News 4 at 4. I'm Un Yang. And I'm Erica Gonzalez. We have team coverage for you.
The takeover, okay? Crack down on
Trump
crime.
administration officials claim that the streets of D.C. are less safe than the streets of Baghdad. In an effort to fix that and crack down on crime here in the district, they launched this operation overnight that includes 16 different federal agencies, could last up to a week long and potentially go further than that. And this all comes after President Trump signed an executive order in March here at the White House to crack down on crime in our nation's capital. But crime actually has hit a 30-year low in D.C. That's according to the Metropolitan Police Department. But it really is in full focus for the president and his administration to crack down on crime here, because we saw a former DOJ employee who was assaulted in a carjacking, and then 2 Israeli embassy staffers killed on the streets of D.C.
We're going to beautify the city. We're going to make it beautiful. And what a shame. The rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly.
See? Nobody cared when Jake was gunning down. Nobody cared when Jake was gunning down himself. But let an Edomite get hit with something. Hey, we got to bring in the National Guards, especially, an Edomite of, well-renowned, esteem, like that Doge, remember those other 2, okay? You see? So, hey, it's here, man, okay? This national, and what did Trump say? He basically said to the protesters, if you come out there and you punch, guess what? His officers, the National Guards, are going to punch back, meaning what? They're going to meet you with equal or greater force than you meet them with, all right? So you go out there trying to punch and hit a officer or a National Guard, don't be surprised if you get slammed on your back or whatever, okay? Whatever comes along with that, all right? So let's go ahead and grab a couple of precepts and see how it goes from there. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 10. It reads, the city of confusion is broken down, all right, which is Babylon, okay? Every house is shut up that no man may come in. See? So it's going to be a time, man, where you ain't going to be able to come and go as you freely once was, all right? Because there's going to be a heavy presence of militarized men that's dictating your comings and goings, okay? There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone, right? Because there's going to be curfews put into place, all right? There's going to be restrictions put into place. This is what martial law is, man, all right? And it's coming, okay? Whether you believe it or not. And all that mirth and joy and having a good time, all that's going to come to an end, man. And see, you people are going to want to have answers in that day, but you're not going to find them, all right? As the Lord says, he's going to hide his face from you, all right? You're not going to be able to find his servants, the prophets, man, in those days, all right? Where all you can do is go to work and come home, all right? Because it's not going to be safe out on the streets. Even though this president is, quote unquote, attempting to do away with crime, he's not going to be able to do away with it, okay? because things are only going to get worse, man. Protests are going to erupt. People are going to disregard the kings and prince, as it says in 2nd Ezra 16 and 15. And all hell is coming, man, to where they're just going to have to shut this place down, man, and enact a curfew, all right? And guess what? Good luck trying to go out to a TGI Fridays or Applebee's or something like that, man, all right? Or go downtown to party, and, hey, good luck with that at that time, all right? Because they're going to have the cities on lock, man. Just think back to 2020, all right, where the only people that was able to go was essential workers. Now, sure, you had people that didn't obey the curfew and lockdowns, but it's going to be a whole new different ballpark this time around, man. All right, they're going to have militarized men out there with arsenals, weapons that's going to enforce this, okay? And unless you got the proper clearance, the proper, quote unquote paperwork, you ain't gonna be able to leave freely, all right? Or you ain't gonna be able to go where you want to go, okay? You're gonna have to get used to military presence in your neighborhood, in your town, in your state, all right? Because this is the stage we get ready to go into, man. Martial law, man. All right, when they feel to really lock down, man. And then there's going to be a crying for wine. And there's going to be a crying for wine. And not the wine that you drink, but wine as in the sense of this knowledge, this truth. Because people are going to want to know what's going on. But guess what? They ain't going to find them. All right? Why? Because they didn't seek the Lord early. All right? So he's going to remove himself from the face of this earth, man. And we're coming into that time where the Lord is getting ready to remove himself from the face of this earth. And by himself, referring to his servants, the prophets, this word, this truth. All right? The truth, the real truth, not no Christianity or anything else. This truth that's being preached right now, that's having this man shake in his boots. Okay? He's going to remove that truth from off the land. And there's going to be a crying for wine. I just want to know, why can't I go to my favorite restaurant without worrying about somebody coming up behind me and knocking me over the head? I thought they were supposed to have military, presence in this part of the town. Well, hey, nobody told you to go outside, all right? They put a curfew in place for a reason, and they told you to stay in your house between these hours and that hour, and you wanted to go out to the store right quick like and grab you some Ben and Jerry ice cream. All right? Just up the store to that 7-Eleven. And that's all it took for your ass to get hit and knocked out. Okay? Because why? You didn't want to stay in your house and listen to the curfew, man. And ultimately because Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai wasn't working with you, man. All right? It's going to be a sad time when that day comes. If the Lord ain't dealing with you, all right, just going up to the street to the nearest gas station, a half a mile away from your house, ain't gonna be safe, especially at night. So just imagine, okay? Just imagine, man. All right, we here. All right, we are here. First, the military presence of National Guards in Los Angeles. Now the military presence of National Guards in D.C. And, hey, we gonna see, man. Okay, we're going to see. So we gonna finish up. Ain't gonna be too long. 1 Peter 5:8 reads what? Be sober, be vigilant. Now is to get the understanding. You don't want to have to wait later to be crying for the wine when the city of confusion is locked down. It's shut up. No man can come. All right, stores are going to be on curfews. You ain't going to be able to go to a store after a certain time. All right, you think Walmart, which was once 24 hours, closing their doors at 10 or 11 o'clock is something. Just wait till they start shutting their doors at 6. And you get off of work at 8. And now you can't go nowhere. Just wait till the restaurants that once stayed open to 10 or 11 o'clock out of fear of, break-ins or what have you, start closing their doors, and even some going out of business earlier than usual, 5 p.m. But that's the time I like to get off and go to happy hour. Good luck. See? Good luck with a happy hour. All right, you better pray you make it home safe. Okay? This is the times we get ready to go into, man. So it says, be sober, be vigilant. See? And we've been warning you. All right? We've been warning you. Going all the way back to the late 60s, early 70s, to now, the age of technology. There's no excuse, man. This word has traveled across the whole earth by the way of the internet. All right? Primarily YouTube. Okay? Which is why they're getting ready to put in implementations, if that's the word I'm looking for, beginning tomorrow, August the 13th. All right? So things are getting ready to come to a close, man, here in Babylon. The curtain is getting ready to close on Babylon the Great, man. All right? One hell of a ride, man. But I can't wait for it to be over. And I know other brothers share that same sentiment, okay? We can't wait for this shithole to be over with, man. All right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.